Hey guys, what's up? Drinking my Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I don't know about you guys, but I love, love, love Starbucks. I shouldn't be drinking it this late at night though, especially since I'm going to be on the road tomorrow. Anyways, yes, I'm rambling. Oh, sorry about moving this. Anyways, okay. Without further ado, because it's been a long, long time coming, um, I had asked you guys if you wanted to hear about how my husband and I met. So, and I had a bunch of you guys say yes. So, here's the video on, sorry about all the shaking. Here's the video on how Renee and I met and, how I honestly believe that it was fate that brought us together. So, yeah. Okay. Um, Basically, I was in a really, really bad relationship that I finally got up the nerve to get out of. And I was at a friend's house. We were talking, and we're like, let's go out. And she was like, all right. So we went out, and her hubby had a falling out. And so we were at the base for something. And she ran into some guys that she had worked with before at the McDonald's on the Lemoore base. And so we were at, my ear itches, sorry. So we were at the Pizza Hut slash Taco Bell area in the Navy Exchange, and we were grabbing a bite to eat, and Renee and his friend Stevenson just happened to be there. And I remember this little girl, she kept trying to get her mom's attention, and her mom was ignoring her, and I was like, bless her little heart. I just felt so bad for the little girl. I've got like little things flying all over. And all of a sudden, she just vomited. And you could tell her mom was getting angry with her, so I jumped up and I helped. And I was hoping to get Renee's attention because I just thought he was so attractive, and he was not really paying me any attention. I mean, he'd look over at me, but nothing, and I was like, oh my God, this sucks. So, anyways, I helped the little girl out, and Renee just sat there still eating his pintos and beans. How he could eat after someone vomited is beyond me. Okay, Brandon just ran in the room for what, I don't know. But anyways, no, give me Ariel. She's hiding from you guys. Go. Yeah, Ariel's hiding from them. Anyways, so, hey, mamas. So, we end up going, and, hey, um, where were we? Oh, so, me and Evelyn, her and her husband work everything out or whatever, and she goes home, and I'm back at my house, and it was about 3 weeks later. Where's your clothes? It was about, oh, you don't want clothes? No, no. Anyways, so about 3 weeks later, Brandon, go play.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too, baby. So we run into each other at this club called the Red Room. And I remember it was so funny because we were all outside, and I was set up on a blind date by my mom's boyfriend, and I wasn't feeling the guy. It was supposed to be a double date, and his friend didn't show up, and I was like, I'm not going alone with you. My girl's going, so you're going to have two girls by your side tonight, so take it or leave it. And of course, he was like, all right. So he brings both of us, and luckily he didn't have to pay to get us in because I was on the VIP. And we get to the club, and I remember we're outside on the patio, and I believe we were out there getting fresh air because I was drinking a lot. And Renee and his friends were out there, and Stevenson gets up and he goes, everybody tells him it's his turn to go get a round of drinks. So he's heading over there, and everyone gives him his order, and he forgets the drinks, and he comes out and he was like, what was it again? And they tell him, and he goes back in, and he comes out again. Like, he does that 3 times, and finally I've heard the name, and I'm like, a Bud Light, 2 Heinekens, a Corona, and it was like some mixed drink. And he was like, huh? And everybody looks at me. And it was because I wanted to get Renee's attention again. But I guess he figured because I was there with a guy, he wasn't going to pay me any mind. That Texas mentality, very respectful. So I was like, okay, what can I do? He's not interested in me like that. I can't force the guy to like me. So, um, I tell Stevenson the order, and he was like, huh? And he says something, and I was like, shut up before I kick you in your head. And he was like, yeah, right. Like, you can kick me in my head. And mind you, I'm only 5'3", and Stevenson's like 6 foot. So I was like, you don't think I can kick you in your head? And he's like, no, I don't think you can reach. So I stand up, and like literally I just kick, and like my it's kind of like that. Like, I'm literally almost in the splits, but I stop my foot right at like his head. And he's like, oh my God. And his friends are like, oh my God. And so then my friends end up leaving me, and they go in the club somewhere, and I'm lost, and I'm like, and Rene approaches me. He's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, um, my friends left me. And he's like, what do you mean they left you? They wouldn't have left you. And I was like, um, they left me. They're fired. They're not my favorite people right now because they left me. And he's like, come on, let's go find them. So he takes my hand and he helps me go and find them. And, of course, we end up finding my friends. And, like, I remember telling him, I tried to talk to you and you didn't talk to me. And, uh, and then I just walked away again. He was like, this girl, oh my God. So, like, 3 weeks later, again, we run into each other. And mind you, this time, I found out that my so called friend that I had been partying with all this time had actually slept with my ex husband from Nathan's dad. And I was like, in fact, she actually slept with him while I was in the hospital right after having Nathan. And she was in the delivery room with me. So I was devastated. So, my nose is itching, allergies. So, anyways, I was hanging out with her husband. And I was like, vengeance is a bitch. And, excuse my language. So she calls up one day and she's like, "Can I talk to my husband?" I was like, "Nope, you had my husband, now I have yours. Payback's up." Bleep. And I hung up. I do not condone that. Don't do it. I mean, it was a mistake. I'm not happy with myself for doing it, but it did bring me and Renee together because I had to take my son to the doctor's appointment, and I happened to have her two kids because she had lost them, due to her violent behavior. She wasn't allowed to come home. And so I had her two kids, and then I had my three kids, and I was in like huge baggy sweats. When I say huge, I'm talking like double X's, and I've got a small frame, but I just like my sweats big. And I had like a double X shirt on, and my hair pulled in a ponytail, and I was just like, screw it. I wasn't feeling myself, I had no makeup on, and he approached me again. And like we talked briefly, and I was like, okay. And then, like, I ran into my friend at the hospital, so we kind of stopped talking that day. And he had his friend come up to me and was like, "Oh my God, go! That's the girl from the club." And he told me, like, they went to the club every weekend. Like, I think it was like a month later. They went to the club every weekend, hoping they would run into me again. And I thought that was so sweet. So, um, that happens, right? And he gets my number, and I play hard to get for a long time. And then I go to the hospital, and he remembers to this day I was wearing this really, fitted black shirt and some white pants and some black boots. And we were at the galley because I don't know why, but Nathan loved the hospital food. So we were there, and we were grabbing him a bite to eat, and everybody was like, he turns to his buddy, and he's like, I'm going to marry that girl one day, watch. And so we get to talking. We have our first date, and it's at his, barracks. And I bring my son along, and we watch Smallville. And he gives me a big hug at the end of the night, but he doesn't try to kiss me. Second night, third night, same thing. And then the fourth night, some time had passed, and I was like I had already fallen in love with this guy, talking to him every day, and basically, uh, I know it seems kind of rushed, but we finally attempted to be intimate one night, and Jocelyn woke up, and he didn't even try anything. He was like, go tend to her. She's more important. And that's when it sold me. I was just in love after that. So he moved in, and he asked the kids if he could marry me. And we were playing around, and, he had thrown a lotion bottle at me playing around, and it hit me the wrong way. And he's like, baby, I promise I'll make it up to you. And I was like, yeah, whatever, that hurt. He's like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, he wasn't lying. That night he made it up to me. asked the kids if he could marry me and if he could be a part of our family, and the kids said yes. And he got my ring that day, got, a bunch of roses, put them all over the bedroom with candles all over the place, and he proposed to me. And he told me how much he loved me and so on and so forth, and I just melted. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And then he got up, gave me a big hug and kiss, and then the fire alarm in the house went on off because he had lit so many candles. And it's just, yeah, it was just romantic, and we've been in love ever since. So that's our story. If you have any questions, just let me know. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.